Hey guys, and welcome back to All In episode 4. So it's been about 5 weeks since we've been behind the camera, so a lot has happened in that period. I've had a little mini op, so I've been about 4 weeks post-op recovering from that, but we're all ready to get going again and get filming. I am joined with special guest Reece Kyffin today. So Reece, you competed last year, didn't you yourself?
I did indeed, yeah.
And how did you do?
Yeah, so I competed in April last year. I did 2 shows, won both the shows, which was class. I was junior last year. I competed in men's for the first time as well, just to get a little taste of what it's like. Won that show as well, so it gave me the confidence I needed to know that going into men's this year, obviously because juniors is 23 and under, I'm 24 this year. So going into men's this year, it gave me that confidence. So I've taken like a load of time off, going to compete in September through to October, and just see what we can do, basically. That's my plan.
We're both competing this year as well, so we're going to be interesting. We'll both be prepping at the same time.
Wait, does that mean you've confirmed now that you're competing this year?
Yeah, it's going to happen, I think. So I was, like, obviously with like having the operation, it kind of put a spanner in the works, but I've been so hungry since then, literally the whole time. Hungry physically and also hungry mentally to go on stage now. Like having that time off, I had a lot of time to reflect, a lot of time thinking, fuck, I want this.
That momentum that you've built.
Yeah,
we were just kind of talking about, the weight that you've put on, the muscle you've gained. There
was so much momentum leading right up to that operation. I felt like a train on a journey. And then coming off that for like 2 weeks, my head was a little bit like, what the hell? But now I'm ready for it.
It's game time, baby.
So let's smash out some pull today. It's going to be a good little session, I'm sure. What we're going to talk about today, was it muscle growth we were going to talk about?
Do you want to talk about muscle growth? Yeah.
Muscle growth.
Just kind of keep it centered around that. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's cool. So enjoy, guys. Looking forward to this one. So what's your split at the moment?
Push pull legs, push pull. I've just gone back to basic. But yeah, so I'm not running this at the minute.
What's your leg days like? You squatting or?
So I'll do quad. Yeah, but like hacks.
Oh yeah.
But I'll do like quads and calves.
How you find the hacking? Because you used to be a massive squatter, didn't you?
Oh, I love it, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I fucking hate squatting now. Fuck that. Ain't doing that again.
Once you connect well with it,
you just need to get that positioning right, because there's so many things to think about. But I feel like once you get it in order and just break it down, are my feet in the right position? Is this going to hurt my knees? Give it a go.
Massively.
But then, like, the first time I did that, I got knee pain, and I was like, do you know what? Fuck it, I'm just going to carry on anyway. So I kind of fought through that little bit of pain.
Yeah.
Next set, absolutely fine. So then it's just kind of finding your position, make sure your heels
it's everything, mate, massively. People just think they'll go onto a machine and they'll automatically get it set up for them, which it's not going to be, is it?
And that's the thing, people just go in and just think, right, this machine's built for this, let's just do it. And it's like, no, you still have to think, just like doing a dumbbell exercise, you still got to think about how you're doing the exercise.
You know, I'm like 6 foot, you're like 5 foot, we're not going to fit we're not going to fit all into the same machine, are we? Do you know what I mean?
He's got his fucking insoles in the bottom of his shoes,
yeah. You know, some have got bigger willies, some have got smaller willies. So it's probably about time that I introduce what we're doing. So first exercise, we're going to do a cable pullover. So I was going to do a pullover machine. Reece is a bit sensitive, doesn't get on with the pullover machine, so we're going to do a cable one. So as the lovely guy that I am, we're going to accommodate to him, as he's the guest today, special guest.
I think what's really important to note here is looking at Louis' arm movement. You see his arm extends a bit more as you get to the top, and as he comes down, you bend in ever so slightly, pulling from the elbow, almost like you would with like a bent over row. Obviously, you're going to start with straight arms and row up. So to make sure you bias the lats over the triceps, you've got to get that little bend in there.
Gold star for Louis.
Yeah, although actually his arms could do a bit more work, so I'd extend them possibly.
Last one now. There. That's it. With this one as well, we're using a rope just so we can get a bit more free range here a little bit as well, and we're not stuck and governed by one position. I find if you use a bar, for a lot of people, it's not like destined for their biomechanics. They can't really get it back as possible. With a nice long double rope here, we can get those elbows right back and get a really nice squeeze on the lats.
Good, Stu.
Oh, fucking hell.
Woo. Nice.
Oh.
Yeah, buddy.
That's the benefit of having a training partner, like I said in the previous video with Jack. Having that extra person just to spot you that final bit, because I think training to failure is what the goal is, what we want to be doing. But with training to failure, a lot of people's problem is their form just goes to absolute dog shite.
Shit, yeah.
And then they're going to have a very, very high risk of injury or pulling something. So having that training partner just to help you with your perfect form absolutely annihilates the muscle.
Power, power, power.
Just a single arm.
Yeah.
Just like that, just bring it down into the hip.
Crunching over to the side.
Yeah, that's it. That's what we need to do. So second exercise, we are now doing a single arm pull down machine. Okay, we're pulling from directly above us. With this one, what we're focusing on is we don't want to fully lengthen out too much with this one. So I'm literally getting my elbow just before I fully start to lock out my elbow, before it fully lockens out, because otherwise it will start to come off the lat and it will start to go onto the top half of our back, our rear delt. So we want to keep this only a very, very small movement, coming it down into that elbow, into that pocket, and then coming up just before the elbow fully lengthens out. Then we come straight back down. You keep so much tension on there. I used to literally would almost stretch out and do a twist.
Yeah.
And I felt like my rear delt would come involved, or I'd get like a little niggle would come eventually, because you've got a stronger muscle doing a lot of the load, and then all of a sudden it goes onto a smaller muscle.
Yeah. I think what a lot of people search for doing this is that straight arm above the head. Well, that isn't what you're looking for. Like Louis said, it's the locked out, or the slightly shy of being a just locked out arm, rather than, it doesn't have to be there.
No.
It could be there, it could be there, but drive, come on, all the way.
Another little thing I do as well, I used to always pull and use the grip with my thumb all the time. I try and pull down now with my pinky and have my thumb overhang as much as possible, because I find if I'm doing the thumb, you'll see the forearm will start engaging in there quite a lot. And what would happen is my forearm would go incredibly pumped after 2 or 3 exercises.
Yeah, 100%.
And now, so I just let it overhang, wear a wrap, pull that pinky down, I get such a good connection with my back.
It's a hook, isn't it?
That's it.
It's a hook.
Down, down, down.
Yeah. Oh. I think that's one massive thing to think about as well when you're doing any back exercise, is you're pulling from your elbow. Because if you think about pulling with your hand, that's when the forearm and bicep starts to get engaged, because you're going through elbow flexion, which is obviously how you work your bicep. Think of dragging with the elbow instead. That's going to be a lot more lat focus for this specifically. That's it. Come on, all the way in. It's all well and good knowing how to diet and how to get someone lean, but it's the struggles that said person is going to like approach along the way.
Yeah.
Like I know myself, obviously, because I've dieted down to fucking 5% body fat.
Yeah.
How hard that is, and there's mental barriers. But I know compared to a lot of people, I've probably got a stronger mindset than a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly. And you can help someone who's in that hole at the time, saying, look, mate, we're here now. We just got to get through it.
But it's just relating to someone. It's going, look, mate, I know exactly how you're feeling. I've fucking been there.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is the fucking
this is
time that counts.
This is what makes you, you know?
Anyone can turn up when they're feeling motivated.
Absolutely. Let's drop this down.
Should we go 8 and get the 12s?
Yeah, let's go for that.
I won't fold, I won't drop until we on top. Only going non-stop. I won't fold, I won't drop until we on top. Only going non-stop. If your plan B with me, do you believe in me? And your plan B with me, do you believe in me? It's non-stop. I won't fold, I won't drop until we on top.
Squeeze, 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 squeeze.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Spotting is so important in this, like we said earlier, but it's spotting in the correct places. Like with Reece just then, where is he pulling from? He's pulling from his elbow. So I like to spot him where that elbow's coming down to that final bit, because if I get him where his hand is, it's gonna probably take him out of balance a little bit. So look where you're spotting your partner. That makes a massive, massive difference, okay? You can't just literally just take all the weight for them either. You've got to just go with their legs or go with their arms, so they can go through that fully contracted position with your aid.
Couldn't train like, who was it? It was Mike Mentzer, wasn't it? At the peak of his career, he was doing like 1 or 2 sessions a week.
Lewis is, yeah.
Like what?
I thought on food wise, Lewis breathes on like 8,000 calories.
I saw that the other day. Imagine that.
What's
Like, I struggled to get just over 4K in, let alone
I get to
double
4
that.
and I'm like, every meal, the last meal is like, oh, you know? So what do you add in there? Do you know what I mean? Blend it up.
Mate, see, I'm fucking, well, yeah, exactly. Or you're eating like 200 grams of raw rice every.
You just have to get like or something, wouldn't you?
Eh?
Little or something.
You're like, yeah, exactly, yeah. Use that. Cut that out.
Oh, fucking hell.
Good shit.
What are you doing on there? So third exercise now, we are going into a T-bar row. So we've done 2 exercises biasing our lats, which is obviously the lower one. They call them the teddy bear ears sometimes. So we're now going to go for an upper back row. So for me, I like to have my handles a little bit out to this top handle here. and I want to be forcing my elbows outwards just so I can get a nice, good connection with my upper back. Whenever you're thinking of doing your lats, bring your elbows in. When you're doing your upper back, flare them out. When are you going to start prepping then?
Probably Jaloon.
Jaloon?
Jaloon? Yeah, Jaloon. Probably.
Fucking hell, what's in that drink of yours, is it?
Hey?
What's in that drink of
I'll
yours?
tell you that. It's all the special stuff that came with it. So I'm going to be fat as fuck at the start of summer, but
you get in condition quite quick though, don't you?
Yeah. I find it easy to cut, mate. Well, it's not easy. Obviously, it's a mental challenge.
Yeah.
But I know the weight's going to come off. I know I can stick to the diet, and I know that my body wants to be skinny and lean, like naturally. So it's easy. It's easier for me to lose the weight than it is to gain the weight, really.
It's going to be so different for me though, because obviously we've been able to use your Himba and clenbuterol and stuff like that now. It's going to be a completely different thing for me. It'd be quicker. It'd be so much quicker, wouldn't it?
I've been up and I've been down and I done seen it all. Was in the gym working my shot, now they pass me the ball. They never answer when I call, now I'm the one they call. I done been up and I've been down and I done seen it all. Crazy when you really gotta get it out the mud. Ducking paparazzi ain't the same as ducking slugs. Keep your circle small cause they be faking with the love. And always have your own back if push comes to shove.
Right, those elbows back.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh. There's a couple of inches between me and Reece. In more ways than one. Such a good squeeze. Well, Reece is doing something here that's quite unconventional, a bit old school now. He's actually putting his weights away. Drive.
Oh, shit. Got nothing left. Yeah. Then I'll probably take a couple of years out, just fucking chill for a bit, grow. Because obviously, like I said, I'm going into men's.
There's a big jump in there.
So it'll be like a couple of years out, literally just focusing on business, clients, growing properly.
Yeah.
Having a bit of fun at the same time. A couple of festivals, but yeah, this year's just, like you say, all in on competing and business.
The thing is, you've got to, mate. Like, you could do, but like I've had a few events like booked up this week, like a couple of like raves and stuff, and I'm thinking that's 2 days basically, or if not 3 days of diet being all over the place, not being accountable. Do you know what I mean? Feeling rubbish the next few days, and there's someone out there who you're going to be stepping on stage with. Who's going to be not missing a beat. And
that's the mindset you need with prep, isn't it? You need to have that mindset of, if I'm going to do this, I need to go in and be the fucking person that's works their fucking ass off to be on that stage and look the best.
You've got to go in there with that
because imagine you come in and you take 3rd place to someone who you think you should have beaten.
Yeah.
But you know that you went out fucking 4 nights on your prep, or you went to fucking 2 festivals in the summer, like, you're going to be kicking yourself.
Yeah. Just because you weren't conditioned enough. There could be the slightest thing.
Or you lost a bit of muscle, or,
This is the difference between wanting to really perfect sport and step on stage. Like, you can do this fitness thing and you can still go out, you can still enjoy yourself. You just have to make good little habits that can change a massive amount of thing. Just be a bit more accountable. But when you do go to that next level of wanting to be one of the best or going on stage, you have to make some commitments. It's simple as. It's like studying for an exam. You're not going to pass the exam if you don't give it loads of hours learning, reading, and talking to your mentor, your coach, or whatever like that. It's just not going to happen, and that's the reality of it. You've got to go underground. You've got to be like a robot for some points.
Yeah, and that's with anything, isn't it? If you want to be fully successful in anything, whether it's business, exams, competing, you want to be a fucking ballerina, you're going to have to practice for hours and hours and hours on end without distractions, making sacrifices to get to where you want to get to. That's just the fucking reality of it.
Look, hey. Going in with the Drake flow, rap stats with the Draco. Say you don't wanna have beef, but you'll do it if I say so. Steph Curry with the free throw, running things like Rico. Say he don't wanna fight me, you scared, homie, we know. Transform like Kylie Jenner, to the money like Tay Spencer. Handmade, I'm a breadwinner. Pockets deep, I'm a big spender. Attention on me when I'm in the center.
So fuck it, we'll do an O spot.
This exercise that we're doing now is the rear delt cable fly. I like using the cable just because I can get the hand position perfect. I kind of start from high and then I'll be coming down a little bit on the plane, coming in line with my shoulder girdle. Reece is right. We want to be bringing that elbow back, but we don't want to be squeezing the traps together too hard here because then it will come onto the trap. This is a rear delt exercise. So those elbows come back, but those hands also come back as well. Just really, really focus on the back of our shoulder here and make sure that you're not just literally bringing your shoulder blades together because you'll just get loads of trap involvement in there. It's also a nice little intensifier that you can do if you're training by yourself, because obviously you don't want to be doing too many forced reps by yourself, because like we said at the start of the video, you could potentially get yourself out of line, cause an injury. But a good one for I find is either a drop set potentially, or even so just doing some partials seems to be one of the safest ways, I think, for adding an intensifier into your workout.
So something you'll see me doing a lot when Louis is doing a set is actually touching the area of focus. So this is something that I picked up a few years ago. It's like a old school bodybuilding technique, but if you're touching the area that you're trying to focus, say we're doing a lat pull down and I'm touching Louis' lat, he's going to be thinking about that area, which is going to help to build that mind to muscle connection. A lot of the time, if you're doing a single arm exercise, even a curl, for example, you tap your bicep, it looks a bit weird, but you are going to help, or that is going to help to build a better mind to muscle connection. So you're actually going to feel the muscle working a bit more, get a better pump, you get more fatigue, and hopefully result in a bit more growth as well.
Really good at this.
So something I find really useful in here is like trying to think about driving your elbow into the pad.
As much as possible.
Like actually, like literally as you're curling up, forcing your elbow down. I think it's the same with a lot of exercises, isn't it? You always think about doing the opposite movements, like a chest press. Rather than pressing forward, you push yourself back.
There's a reason there's a pad there, isn't there, at the end of the day?
Well, that's it, yeah.
Single arm I always connect with so much better. I like to kind of, I try and find with also like a back or a bicep when I'm pulling, I do like to do a unilateral exercise, kind of like to start off a little bit, because I get that really big connection. The problem is, although we did a dual arm at the start with the cable, normally we'll do a single arm pull down because the back is such a big muscle. A lot of people find it really, really hard to connect. So if you are finding it hard to connect, go for a single arm, get yourself aligned with where you're pulling from, and you'll get such a good connection with it. And that's good for beginners starting off, so you get that connection. And then as you get a bit more advanced, you can go up to the dual arms to start off with, and you'll be fine. Big off season, come on.
Ah, that's it. Shit. Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry, sir.
Transparency and honesty with the coach is so important, because you know, if you're not being honest with them, how can they steer the ship?
Yeah, I see it as this. I see it as like, a lot of the time I'll tell someone or advise someone to do this, this and this. And if they say, yeah, I've been doing it and they haven't, then you change their protocols according to the result they've got on the protocols that you've given. So you change the protocols, but then it makes no difference because they're not following them anyway. So it's not going to have the impact you need it to have.
You've got one ridiculously low calories and nothing's working in there because they're
lying. And you're going fucking mental.
Yeah, and then you as a coach are feeling like bad because you're like, I don't want to put you down on this low.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But then they even have a fucking Domino's every Sunday and the calories are up 5,000.
I can understand how a lot of rappers disappear. I can't understand how a man lives his life in fear. I got goals, matter of fact, I got more. I got dreams in the lyrics. Can you hear them? Can't fall. So it's non-stop. I won't fold. I won't drop until we on top. Only going non-stop. Non-stop. I won't fold. I won't drop until we on top.
Big year this year. Big year. Come on, finish.
Yep. Fucking work for it now. Work for it. Come on. Good man.
Last one. Yes. Do you know what? I could hear that my girlfriend turned up without even seeing her. Literally a mile off. And instead, I could hear you before I saw you. Hello. So we're going to just finish off with one other exercise now, shall we? Do a bit of dumbbells, and then we're going to finish off with some posing as well.
Yeah,
actually reached out to Reece literally a couple of weeks ago saying I want you to go through some posing with me to fine tune it, because that is going to be a massive difference for going on stage. I've kind of self-taught myself with some posing, but this is when you do need to have a second eye on you. You need to have someone do the little touches, especially as Reece has been on stage a few times now and he's coached a few people as well and had people do posing lessons with him. It was a necessity, so I'm looking forward to that in a sec.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things to think about when it comes to presenting yourself on stage, because it's all well and good looking the part. Oh shit, I'm shredded and I'm massive, but if you can't pose and present your physique, then most likely you're not going to win. So definitely displaying what you've got is that kind of final piece of the puzzle.
Absolutely.
If you want to put it that way.
The reason why Big Ramy bloody went so downhill as well, although he had a few alterations, Big Ramy, ex-Mr. Olympia, his posing was terrible on the Olympia, and it really hindered him. So
yeah. Relies too much on the size, doesn't display the actual physique that well, and game over.
That's it. Bodybuilding's an art, isn't it, at the end of the day?
What are we doing?
Well, do you want to just do it, I don't know, on here or whatever?
Yeah. Oh, good boy.
Yeah, because I knew I was going to get something out of it at the end of it.
It's a Robin, I promise y'all no one will stop us, and no one will stop us. Can't change up, my team too real, so we stay up. Yeah, this is our year, can't change up. My team too real, so we stay up. Yeah, this is our year, can't change up. My team too real, so we stay up. Yeah, this is our year, can't change up. My team too real, so we stay up. Yeah,
A good thing to think about here as well is you look at the bicep exercises we've just done. We've just done a preacher curl where your arms are in front of you. We're challenging that shortened range. And here, our arms are really lengthened. We're challenging that lengthened range of the bicep. So just think about how you're structuring your sessions as well. You know, if you want to optimize your gains and your growth, then you do have to challenge your muscles in different ranges, different movements, different angles.
And I think the biggest problem as well is a lot of people go way too heavy.
Yeah.
Way too heavy.
Yeah, and it's like you say, I think Louis said this in the last video, on that exercise, funnily enough, when your shoulders start getting involved, and if you're doing curls and your elbows are coming forwards all the time, you know, you're almost doing a front raise. That's when your front delts are going to start to get picked up, and it's going to just take away from the bicep. So literally just bend your arm as far as it can bend, and that's your curl.
So just wrapping up our session now, just going to go some posing with Reece. So literally, this will be the end of the mics and stuff like that. It was a really, really good pull session.
Splendid session.
So we'll have a nice little bit of last minute bit of posing going through that. And this is the one thing as well. This is the operation that I had the scar. So my biggest tip of today, and this is the most important thing ever, if you've got something potentially, so I had 2 moles removed basically in November, came back in January saying that I had melanoma with it. So I had to have a big operation on that to get that removed. So it was just a little tiny little mole, and as you can see, it's quite a little big incision that they had to do. So if you ever have any doubts of anything, just literally go get yourself checked. That is like the most important message I can put through the whole of this series. Because if I had left this through a whole bodybuilding prep, freaking hell, like this could have been a lot worse, and I could have been out of bodybuilding probably forever. So get yourself checked. That's the biggest takeaway from today. But anyway, let's get into the fun part. Serious stuff's over now. Let's get into the fun part.
As I hit the shot, vacuum comes in, bicep comes in. Like a low row, so I can feel my lats. Pull your shoulders back a little bit. But it's also going, actually, let's pinch the scapula a little bit and bring a little bit of detail through as well. And I almost think about doing a hammy curl with specifically this leg, but both legs. I would actually bring your hands down a little bit.
Everyone down for the mission. Is everyone down for the mission? We had a dream and we'll get it. We had a dream and we'll get it. Can't change up. My team too real, so we stay up. Yeah, this is our year. Can't change up. My team too real, so we stay up. Yeah, this is our year. Yeah.